Welcome to the Fixture by WICC, presented by Orbitz. As always, I'm your host, Meg Linehan. I'm a national staff writer at The Athletic, covering the NWSL and the U.S. Women's National Team. Thanks for hanging on a couple of extra days so we could bring you the latest from Japan as the Olympics finally get underway. Plus, the NWSL is staying super competitive at the top of the table, and a ton of news out of the league last week between head coaching roles and a big shakeup at Gotham. We're in it to win it now this summer. Let's get it going right here at the Fixture. The Olympics kicked off on Wednesday, and opening day certainly did not go to plan for the U.S. Women's National Team as they fell to Sweden in a pretty resounding 3-0 loss, snapping both their 44-game unbeaten streak and Vlatko Andonovski's 23-game unbeaten streak to start off his tenure with the national team. Megan Rapinoe said after the game that the team basically got their asses kicked, and later on she said, "We got bopped." And bopped they got, with Stina Blackstenius scoring the first 2 goals before Lena Hurtig added the dagger for Sweden in the second half. Now, just about as much went wrong for the U.S. as it went right for Sweden, but Sweden won the tactical plan and outplayed the U.S. Women's National Team, who looked lethargic and completely unable to come up with answers to break out of Sweden's pressure and overloads. In other results from Wednesday, Team GB secured a solid 2-0 victory over Chile, with Ellen White scoring both goals, including that second one, which she hit past Christiane Endler with a scissor kick. Brazil got the perfect start for their tournament, cruising past China 5-0. Marta became the first player to score in 5 straight Olympics. Of course she did. She added 2 to that tally today. All right, host nation Japan clawed back a draw against Canada in their match, settling for a 1-1 finish. Christine Sinclair scored international goal number 187, plus became the 4th player to make 300 international appearances. But Mana Uebuchi spoiled what could have been, should have been, a win for Canada. Netherlands and Zambia match ended up with a 10-3 scoreline, which, well, that's some American football sort of stuff right there. Viv Miedema scored 4, but Zambia's Barbara Banda contributed a hat trick of her own in Zambia's Olympic debut, plus their first match against a European opponent. Finally, in the battle of 2023, World Cup host Australia came out on top, with Sam Kerr playing a key role for the Matildas in their 2-1 victory over New Zealand. She played provider in the opening goal, setting up Tamika Yallop. Then she used her head to finish off what became the winning goal. Unfortunately for the Ferns, it really doesn't get any easier for them in this tournament, as they are the lucky team to face off against a very, very mad U.S. Women's National Team looking to right the ship following Wednesday's loss. We're back with another group stage match day on Saturday, so stay tuned to the @ICC Women's channels on how to watch the games. Portland Thorns are on top of the table once again in the NWSL, but after a chaotic weekend, it's really anyone's race to the playoffs, with 7 teams at the top of the table, only separated by 4 points. But I do want to start with an ode to own goals and the Chicago Red Stars. Mal Pugh might have finally ended that streak, but what a streak it was. Even commentator Kaylin Kyle could only laugh while calling the Chicago OL Reign game, and that own goal streak continued. Might have finally come to an end, but in terms of sheer NWSL weirdness, we get a lot of that in this league, but it was maybe one of my favorite things ever.
Here's a run for Mallory Pugh. The cross deflected, an own goal! 4 straight own goals, benefiting the Chicago Red Stars, and they've equalized here at home. The corner, no way, another own goal! And the Chicago Red Stars take a lead.
I mean, you can't make this up. 5 own goals in a row.
The simulation has broken. And it is her debut. Back to goal, it's Pugh! Mallory Pugh breaks the streak. A stunner. And Chicago leads 3-1.
Let's rewind to Saturday night, though, as the Houston Dash traveled to the Courage's home stadium and came home with all 3 points in a historic win. It's the first time they've ever picked up a win at Salem Stadium, and this one was thanks to goals from Shea Groom and Gabby Seiler.
Stolen by Let's Go. Played through now. Early shot and a goal for the Dash. Off the turnover, Houston takes the lead, building here in a 1-1 game. It will be Seiler striking and finishing. What a lefty strike from Gabby Seiler, and the Dash are back in front.
Great set piece.
The Spirit and Gotham FC went for a real thriller on Sunday, despite Washington going down to 10 players due to an early red card on Sam Staub. Trinity Rodman struck first for Washington, but it was a real team effort from Gotham FC to get the last laugh and the victory, with Naho Kawasumi, McCall Zerboni, and Midge Purse all scoring on the road in that win.
Ball along the left side. The Spirit into the 18. Rodman takes a shot, and Rodman with the finish. Diva or no Diva, the Divas can do it, and Washington on top. 15-18 sends another driven corner in, and oh, it's in. It was bounced, saved, and then finished. Let's go both hands in the air now with the right foot. Driven in, goal, Zerboni. 2-1, Gotham FC. Deep breath, Sanchez takes it, oh my! And we are tied at 2. UCLA, great ball across and in. Purse has given Gotham the lead, 3-2. Margaret Purse with the answer, and Gotham's on top.
Then in the late game on Sunday, the Portland Thorns picked up a home dub over the Orlando Pride, and if there is one goal you're watching from this weekend, it should absolutely be Sophia Smith's from this match. An amazing run, she bodies off the defender and then finishes near post despite the pressure.
Here's Smith. That's a shove in the back. Still going. Smith with the strike. What a sensational goal for the 20-year-old Sophia Smith.
From Orlando, you can see 4 players that are completely caught out. Peterson getting caught out, but again, their numbers up. You have 3 players behind the ball and no one putting adequate pressure on Sophia Smith. Far too much time and space. Now, yes, it is a brilliant strike. Well hit, just perfectly placed.
Ashlyn Harris, though, kept up her solid performances through 2021 with yet another penalty kick stop, this time against Raquel Rodriguez, but Marissa Everett's header made the difference for Portland.
Park cheering her on. Here's Rodriguez. The kick. Saved by Harris. Klingenberg, plenty of room. Looking for the shot. A beautiful goal. Marissa Everett with a stunner.
The NWSL is not taking a break for the Olympics. Don't forget, there are games on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Get the naps in. Despite the Olympics, it was a huge news week across the NWSL. Here are the major stories that you need to know. San Diego is making progress ahead of the 2022 season, announcing a couple of key hires last week. Molly Downton is in as GM, and Casey Stoney is officially, finally, the team's first head coach. The two, along with the team's president, Jill Ellis, are now working on the San Diego roster for that 2022 launch. Notably, Stoney is very aware of the differences between the NWSL and the WSL, especially how transitional the NWSL is, and as a former center back herself, she's ready to focus on defense. That wasn't the only head coaching news in the league last week. Laura Harvey is returning to OL Reign. We'll have to wait for her to wrap up her time in Japan with the U.S. Women's National Team at the Olympics. And in the meantime, Sam Lady will continue on as interim head coach, but Harvey is making her return to the club where she started her NWSL career and won a couple of NWSL shields. While the team is in 9th place, they're only 6 points back from a playoff spot, and there is still, as we have seen, a lot of season left. In less positive news, last week Gotham FC announced that they had fired general manager Elise LaHue. There are honestly not a lot of details around this yet. We might not ever get these details beyond the team statement and a very brief statement from Elise LaHue's attorney, so we might as well start there. Gotham FC started with a tweet saying that they had informed LaHue she was no longer employed by the club and promising an expanded statement. That expanded statement came pretty shortly after and read, on July 9th, ownership informed Ms. LaHue that she is no longer employed by New Jersey, New York, Gotham FC based on the results of a league investigation into a complaint of violation of league policy. During her 3 years with the club, Gotham FC has made significant strides on and off the field and built the foundation for continued success. Vice Chair Ed Nalbandian will oversee day-to-day operations while ownership, led by club chair Tammy Murphy, begins a search for a successor. As for the statement from LeHue's attorney, it was right to the point. Ms. LeHue denies the allegations made against her and will make no further comment. We don't actually know what those allegations are, but one trusted source did confirm to me that the league investigation was related to the NWSL's anti-harassment policy put into place back in April. I'll obviously be keeping an eye on this one for future developments, so stay tuned. Finally, considering the form Christen Press has been in ahead of the Olympics, plus Tobin Heath's incredible form upon her return to the US national team, there's obviously some renewed focus on where they're going to land following the Olympic tournament now that their time at Manchester United is done, and all of those reports coming out of Manchester United as well. Now, as I reported back at The Athletic earlier this week, the pressure is now on Racing Louisville FC to sort out any potential trades to other NWSL teams, as the two are now essentially global free agents. Louisville holds their NWSL rights, but those don't have much value if Press and Heath elect to sign with a club outside of the NWSL, as they did with Manchester United back in 2020. It does sound like there is some interest from expansion teams, obviously makes sense. Press and Heath could very well end up on different teams as well. But now it's down to if Louisville can cut a couple of deals. They went for the risky play at the expansion draft by selecting Press and Heath's rights, and it's down to the wire now. Thank you for joining me here on The Fixture. There is still time to pick up your tickets to the Women's International Champions Cup that's happening in August in Portland. You can watch the Thorns, Houston Dash, Lyon, and Barcelona battle it out at Providence Park. Tickets are on sale right now at internationalchampionscup.com. Make sure you don't miss out. As always, stay tuned to all things women's soccer by following at ICC Women on Twitter and Instagram for all the latest. You can like International Champions Cup on Facebook. You can always find me at It's Meg Linehan. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next week.